Okay, I'm just going to show you a few slides. I'm not going to, there's quite a few here, but I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to bombard you with slides. Let's just give a quick intro to what we do, and then we can just go straight to the live charts and just look at what's been happening today, for example. So, yeah, Scalper School is basically a combination of existing scalping tools, but also some that I've worked on for many hundreds of hours and over a good few years now. So I've combined some traditional scalping techniques with my own brand of scalping. So that's what has come together for Scalper School. Now, what we're looking for is obviously just the usual disclaimer: trading involves risk, you may lose more money. Position size is really, really important. So it's always worth mentioning this to so you can really make sure that you are on top of your account. So let me just skip a few slides. Trade Easy Way was founded in 2009, and we're basically building a team in a live trading room and everybody in the trading room is trading the very, very same setups. That's why I don't do free trials in the trading room, because I don't want any members distracted, and I certainly don't want to be distracted. So, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's just talk about what is scalping. So why scalp? Scalp because you don't want to be at the screens too long. I think the longer you're at your screens, the more chances you have of making mistakes. If you are in a trading room like ours and or using the system, then you've got a really strict set of rules to help you get in and out of the markets. I know that day trading can be pretty tough, so unless you have a specific set of rules, you could run into a lot of problems. So our brand of scalping is not about 5 to 10 pips. That's what most people think of scalping. What we're looking for is 25 pips a session. And we quite often trade, particularly in the US, we tend to trade anything from 1 to 3 trades during the session, whereas the DAX, I would tend to just do one or two maximum. So we're not looking to just jump in and out all day long, making our brokers very happy with lots of spreads that they can get out of it. We're just looking for the key moves of the day. So to be successful, you need obviously the basic technical trading skills. So it's not for absolute beginners. I would say you need to have been trading for at least 6 to 12 months before you get involved in scalping. You need strict set of rules. You need a good daily routine. So do the same thing every day and expect the same results. That's what we're about. Not adjusting position sizes and trade setups and inventing trade setups, which a lot of less experienced traders will do, and that's why I think so many traders get into trouble. What can you expect to make? Well, these are some examples of live. Well, this is a bit out of date, isn't it? 325, 101, and there's a minus 180 down there. So overall profits are attainable there. So there's a minus 30, there's a plus 780, and so on. So you can see the smaller losses or the smaller profits are where I'm trailing a stop, protecting a position, protecting what I've got on the table, and then getting stopped out basically. I do that day in, day out. We have strategies for data setups. We have strategies for looking at the open, and then we have strategies for intraday. What I'm going to talk to you about now, we're going to come off the charts in a minute. This is basically the core part of Scalper School. This is the main aspect of what we do here, and So what we're looking at is we will measure the open range, the high and the low. So it doesn't matter what colour the bar is. This could be a very bullish bar, could be a very bearish bar. What matters is if we hold the mid-range or if we break out, and of course that could work for the selling. If we start breaking down here, we're going to want to go short. If we start breaking here, we're going to want to go long. So it's the first 5-minute range of the DAX in the morning and the Dow in the afternoon. If you are, assuming you are a UK or a European trader, obviously if you are in the US, then you'll be talking about the US as the morning. So this is it. That's the whole essence of Scalper School trading. But what I'm not going to talk about, A, because I don't want to take a lot of time, and B, because I'm not prepared to talk about that to non-members, is all of the system that is built around this to try and prevent a situation where we're getting stopped out too much, or we're getting stopped out more than once, and to the reasons that the rules we have that we've built around this to increase the probability of staying in this trade. And I am actually in this trade at the moment. Let me just pull this back. So in my futures account, I bought these lows. Let me just measure, see what's happening. Yeah, okay, I've gone in small size. I've not got a lot of profit here. But let's see if I'm in a position to get my stop to break even. Not really. Not got that much on the table. Right, that's fine. I'm close to my stop. I'm about break even minus 10 now, so that'll do. That'll do me. So here we are with the open trading range. Now this is a good example because this is sloppy. This is where the market's been quite choppy. And we had breaks to the upside, breaks to the downside, and so on. This is exactly what you don't want. However, on the anchor chart we've got this 850 area here is a key number. So I bought down here, I actually bought a few pips above that, and just looking to see if we can eventually push higher. So that's the essence of Scalper School. This is what we would do. This is how we would look to handle the market in a situation where we are popping either side of the range. Then we're either backing off or looking to the anchor chart to make a decision later in the day on this, and that's what's happened today. Our anchor chart has called the low down here, and that's why I am currently looking. I've only got about 30 pips on the table at the moment on this long. But I have got a stop to break even minus 10. I started with a stop under the session lows, and I have since pushed that up to break even minus 10. So, like I said, it's not a big position. That's why I'm happy just to let it sit there with some risk, leaving some money on the table. I'm still at risk to the tune of 10 pips. But given the size of my account, I'm happy to let that go. So if one of the still important anchor charts, but by no means the what we call the golden anchor chart, is this 4-hour chart, and you can see how this is marked off with this channel. So we've got all the support. Of course, this is a recent channel because we didn't form it until the low on the 8th of February, the 12th of February, and more recently the last Friday on the 15th. So I'm still looking to see if we can push into 26,000 on this one, but We have a couple of high closes in the 4-hour chart, so the buyers are still appear to be supporting this, but when in 48 minutes we have the Fed minutes coming out, so the market is appears to be looking towards that to get some momentum, assuming we get to the upside, hopefully, because I'm long. If it's to the downside, then I will get stopped out and I will reassess. But in the meantime, that's what I'm looking at. So, scalping for us is not just about, well, it's certainly not about grabbing 5 to 10 pips. And some traders will do that all day, and probably. So I'll come to that question in a minute. So some traders will do that all day and really rack up some nice profits for their broker, not necessarily some nice profits for themselves, particularly if they just simply overtrade. So that's one of the reasons why we have a decent anchor system so that our scalping is restricted to moves that are within the parameters and the rules of our Scalper School system. So every morning and every Dow session, we come into the room, we do a set amount of preparation, and then look to get positioned. And in an ideal day, we would look to close the room anything from 20-30 minutes after we open. And then the chat room kicks in, which is separate from the main live trading room, and that runs 5 days a week, whereas the live trading room only runs 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because that's when the bulk of the volume is coming in to the market. And being scalpers and day traders, we need volume and volatility. Okay, so let's have a look at these comments. We've got just break of the range. Yeah, we do need that anchor chart to really safeguard the trade. So at the moment I'm currently 30 pips up, and at some stage, if we start breaking above 925, 950, or of course the high of this 4-hour chart, then I can start to get my stop to break even and potentially lock some profits in as well. We have resistance up there at 975, so that's the high of the week. Need to see if we can bust through it. So back to the basic Scalper School system. We're just hitting the ceiling. We're looking. So this is where's the 5-minute range? This is the 5-minute bar. So we have breached it to the low 1, 2, 3, 4 occasions, 4 times, and we breached it to the high 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is, thankfully, that is not a typical day, but it's a good illustration to why you need an anchor chart, because if you haven't got an anchor chart, you'll be potentially just getting trapped in these ranges, which is not much use to you. So if you are looking, if you want to be an intraday trader and you want to limit the number of trades you take, then this 4-hour chart is for you. Nobody has to scalp, but if you're interested in day trading, you can see here on the, this is overnight, 4th of January, we have a buy signal down there. It does pull back, it does pulls into the Euro session when Europe wakes up. Gets momentum into the midday. Doesn't leave the US much. Now that's unusual. Normally the US will wait till it won't trade it until it pulls back. So here we get a buy signal. I know this is Monday the 7th of January. This would affect the open on the Monday the 7th. So we initially saw a push up to 700. Later in the day, we pulled back to 500, got bought, and ultimately followed through until we got close to 24,000. So obviously a lot of buyers coming in and just hanging on, just holding on. We got a buy here on the morning of the 10th of January, pushes up. Anybody got any questions? If you are already scalping, how are you scalping? What setups are you using? Anybody want to share that? Let's look at the DAX this morning, because the DAX did exactly the same. This is the open range. We got bought for 15 minutes, spent 2.5 hours drifting back to the support. So from the support in the typical European reversal time at 10, 11 o'clock, we pushed up from 322 ultimately to 435, 440, about 120 pips, but it took hours and hours and hours to generate that. There are other markets you could use this on. If you look at oil, this was a key level for me, which I had marked up. I didn't actually trade this. This is one I've missed. I do miss trades, it happens, but I don't chase the market. So I will mark this up ready for tomorrow and hope that we can get a pullback for tomorrow. Beans, I have day traded beans a lot in the past. I don't tend to do it these days because the Dow and the oil are so volatile. But at times it is, these beans get very interesting. That's dropped down to 902. So we've avoided the big $9 mark. And here we are, $9.10. Now each contract, I wouldn't suggest you do this in a traditional retail broker account. You really do need a futures account for that. But anyway, Forex. Now this is out of date, so let me just update this one. So London opens at 8 o'clock. That's the London range. So we dipped out of it at 9, 11, 12, 2:30. So a heck of a lot of chop. So if you're not equipped with all the support you need in that i.e. an anchor chart, then you could potentially be in trouble. Okay, let's look at the 4 hour on this one. Resistance, we had support right down there from the low of 15th of Jan. We had a lot of support around here on the 21st of Jan. So we breached this on second half of last week. And now we look as if we could head for 132.17. We got any Forex traders in the room? Do you guys trade Forex? Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I'll have to flip to my white chart for now. Hourly doesn't look that great. So that's the essence of scalping. In terms of, there's other aspects of this in terms of trade management. So obviously I'm sitting on this hourly chart here. I'm sitting in the Dow with this support and resistance. So very, very nice breakout. Very shallow pullbacks. And just looking to see if we can break above 965, this week's highs. So a little bit difficult to trade this week with a tight range like that. This last week was a bit more volatile. You can see how I marked up Monday the 11th. Like I said, we had this pullback. Yes, this is a frustrating. I didn't get this move on Friday because this closed higher. Put a buy signal in at 9 o'clock in the morning. By the time the US opened, most of this was done and dusted. So that is a little frustrating. Bear with me one moment. Okay, I've just moved my stop up on that trade, just locking in some profits now. Although it's a small position, the profits are building. So I don't want to give too much away. Any questions? What questions have you got? You know, trading's not easy. Some days can be quite simple and maybe obvious to the eye. Other days can be very choppy. What sort of situations do you guys face? What sort of issues do you have in your trading? We all have issues in our trading. I used to do. Oops. Hang on a second. What I used to overtrade sometimes, some days. So I had to pull myself to tighten my trading up and make sure I didn't overtrade. I've mentored traders who had the opposite and struggled to pull the trigger. So it does vary. For some reason I can't see. Give me one moment. Ah, there you go. Yeah, I think the trick is, how do you manage stress and how do you manage choppy days? I think the issue is if you, the most immediate, most obvious thing is if you're getting stopped out, if you're following a specific system, i.e. this range, and you're getting stopped out, then it's a sign that there's no follow through in the markets, and they're not, and they're breaching the range. Therefore, you know, the chances of you staying in the trade is less and less. So you've got to have our anchor chart. Our anchor chart does give a clear indication of where the support and resistance is. So if that gets breached, then you know you can do one or two things. You can either stay away and wait until you do see a setup that you trust, or if it fits with your system, then literally change direction. I think the sign of a professional trader is where you can you can trade one position, maybe make a profit, but if you see it switch the other way and you're happy with, and that you get confirmation in whatever charts and timeframes you use, then flip it, turn it around. But back to what I was saying earlier, you know, don't overtrade and don't try and get every move. Well, let's talk about, in terms of managing stress, let's talk about typical problems that a lot of traders face. A lot of traders, some are impulsive, they don't have trade plans, they are not experienced enough to know when are the best times of the week and the best times of the day. And if they do get stopped out, what you need to do, one of the best things you can do if you get stopped out is just close your charts and take a break for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and then come back to your charts with a fresh eye and make a decision as to whether it was you that made a mistake, or if it's the market that's just not behaving the way that you would expect it to, and therefore that's probably a good time for you to back off and walk away. So if that's the way you need to manage stress, you need to have a set of rules that you stick to. I talked to a trader ages and ages ago. He said he always had a drink on his table. There's a nasty cocktail of things that he didn't like. I think something like he didn't like pineapple or something. So he had a glass of pineapple on his table. If he took a trade that broke his rules, he sipped this pineapple to remind himself that he's made a mistake and so on. I don't think that actually works. If it worked for him, great. But I think if you are making mistakes, then you just got to walk away from the screens. Now, if you forget taking a drink, forget hitting yourself in the chest or whatever, you've got to walk away and leave the markets alone, and and then protect your account and do the best you can. Okay, so this 850 is definitely for now. It's definitely got bought, and we are getting close to this session's highs at that 835. So I will go in and just protect a little bit more account. So I am 55 pips up at the moment, 55 pips up. So I will go and protect that trade again. I'm going to lock in some profits now. So my advice is take your time in these markets. If you are finding that you are having problems and struggling, then back off, stop what you're doing. And then just find, obviously at Scalper School, we teach a specific way, which is brilliant, which works really well. It does not work every single time, but anybody knows anything about the markets, then you will know that is an obvious statement. What you need to do is have something that's consistent, and we are 77% consistent overall over a period of a month, and that is confirmed with the study that was done over a 9-month period with 9 months worth of data. Right, I've been talking for half an hour. I'm open to any questions you've got, but otherwise I'm just going to walk away from these screens. I'm actually going to see a film tonight. I'm going to just get out, wait and get this stop to, my stop is to break even now. I'm building a position. It's looking good. Have had a couple of stop outs on the way, but overall I'm making money. So I'm going to leave this on the table while I'm at the flicks. And I think I was going to see Stan and Ollie, but I don't think that's on tonight, so I'm going to see something else. Any questions before I go? So tomorrow, I would really like to, I hope to see that pull back. That's gone into an extension up there. Silver's a good one, been going on at silver for a long time. and so on. So that's still looking good. All right, well, thanks a lot for joining me, and I am going to go get something to eat now, and I will see you soon. I'll keep you posted if there's anything else that's going on. But in the meantime, after initial lot of chop, we seem to be doing okay. Big push up. Yeah, the markets have really messed around, haven't they? Okay, thanks a lot. And just watch out for setups in the room. Okay, bye, Asif.